This is BleedTV, the only podcast today's best shows and movies. I'm Zach.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Cash.
And we got the Walking Dead season finale of season 8. This was, I guess, episode 16, of course. And it was called Wrath.
They gave us some wrath.
Yeah.
Like their wrath.
Question is,
Montezuma's revenge.
Are we going to show our wrath tonight? So instead of me just dribbling through this like that, bro, go ahead and give me your assessment. What would you call this episode to you? Good call.
Yeah, pretty
Cash,
strong.
Cash, what do you got for us?
It's not. There was so much that they just changed randomly. I felt with like character personas that I don't know. I'm so mad about the Eugene thing just randomly.
You know, there's parts of me that were okay, all right, cool, because I tried to listen to other people. I got on social media, and man, people were blowing me up last night and talking about what they like, this, that, or so on. And it's one of the better discussions.
Oh, people
we've had.
like things.
And yeah, believe it or not, there are some people who really like different parts. And, you know, when we talk about them, that I was like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, you're cool, man, that's great. Love your opinion.
I'm just gonna give you this like, and I'm gonna scroll on down.
But you know, I hate to say them to the point now where. You know, they make some decisions on the show, and you're just like, no, that doesn't hold water. There's just no way that right there makes sense with anything they've ever put in the past. And so a couple of those decisions happened last night that really turned me off. Not so much the things that happen on screen, just the decisions they're making.
In the writing room and everything.
Yeah, I mean, like, I put it on social media. I said, man, I feel like they're slapping half the fans with some of the decisions they made. Because there's some real, there's people who are comic book people, there's people who are not, this, that, or so on. But either way it goes, it doesn't matter if you either one. Some of the decisions that they did that we'll talk about, I mean, if you really think about it, that's like, what? I mean, what? That's what I felt like. Even my wife, who doesn't know anything about the comic books, like, she was just looking at it going, that doesn't make sense. How is it? I mean, like, if she's telling you that,
then you
know, novice
know,
viewer, then that's an automatic. You know that some things out there. Of course, there's always your diehards are like, oh, anything Walking Dead's fucking amazing, you know, but it is what it is. Overall, I'm going to give it a solid 5.5, 6 at best is what I've got going here. Just because I did like some parts. I'm sorry, the writing decisions are just killing me, but that's an opinion. The quality of the episode, still a 6, best.
I like how you defend it and then just give it the same exact thing. It's
yeah,
like,
I
try it. No, sticking with this.
Yeah, they you know, I just got through watching Altered Carbon. And when you watch that, which is eye candy, magic, oh my God, every episode is, you know, jaw dropping, amazing. And such imaginative and so well shot and detailed and just imaginative. All the way, and then you turn on Walking Dead and you're like, oh God.
This is a chore.
Thank God I love the characters because the things they're making these puppets do out here on television makes me really concerned. You know, that's what I'm getting at. Is it, you know, when you podcast TV and shows and you hear everybody tell you this is amazing, go watch this, and you do, and you're like, damn, that's amazing. God, I mean, how does AMC, who does The Terror tonight, that is phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. Now that is a acquired taste. That is something like you have to be in that kind of genre to enjoy that kind of thing. It is definitely not for the masses, and I figured that out through social media. But when you have that quality, those actors doing that kind of writing, that visual, the details, everything they're doing, where you just, you know, you're soaking it like a dry sponge. And the night before was a mishap of bad writing, terrible quotes, terrible acting by some characters you love, a mosh podge of everything. It just really blows your mind. I told somebody last night when we were doing social media that what the show has turned to in Walking Dead is that great moments with no continuity or way to get to in between them. Yeah, that's what the show has turned into,
and that's what we've been saying for like the last 2 seasons. It feels like,
you know,
it's like, oh, we got this great idea. Does it matter how we get there? No, not really. Let's just boom.
I mean, they did a little bit better with some different things. When we get in the episode, I'll say, okay, we did a good job of leading to this part, you know. But there's so many times you're just like, you know. So I say we just dive into the episode and rock into it. Go for it. Do y'all want to break it into different people or just kind of as it went, or what are y'all thinking?
I think you can just kind of go as it went.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it for the finale.
I mean, this episode felt super short to me.
It was only like 47 minutes, I think. Well, at least without commercials. I don't know.
You know, the episode opened up with Rick walking Carl down the gravel road.
Which I applauded them for putting this like in the letter and everything. We didn't need to see it. Like we had painted this picture as well as it was going to be done.
Well, that's what The Walking Dead has done here lately, is they try to put these artistic shots and moments in there. You think about the last episode, we had Rick on the porch, cool visual, him looking at the letter, and had a little heartfelt, and that's, they stick these little, artistic moments into the episodes. I didn't so much, I didn't say it was a bad thing, but I was very curious about why we had to see it multiple times. You know what I mean? I know they try to do the whole front, back, front, see before this. I mean, so I don't know. I mean, I thought it was crazy
it
that
add anything.
He had the long hair that he has now, but he has the clear shaved face. I just looked at the little details because when you remember the original Walking Dead,
short hair.
He had short hair, even in the back.
Well, because you're a police officer, you can't have long hair. So.
Right. Given that's a minor detail, but it is what it is. And of course, you have Sadiq feeding the baby. You have the guys walking walkers away, all that little stuff. And then you have Jerry and Ezekiel. And did anybody else notice that Jerry was dulling the axe with the way he sharpened it?
Yeah, I thought he was kind of rubbing it on the blade side.
He was blunting it. When you do the stone, ladies and gentlemen, which happen to know this,
Side of the blade.
It's a side of the blade at a certain angle. That's what gives it its sharpness. You do it on both sides, and you rub the wire off the end of it, and voila, you have a sharp axe. The way he was doing it was making it a dull brick on the end of a stick.
So he don't give a shit about sharpness either.
No, it's just a giant, heavy, blunt object.
Which is totally fine for killing walkers.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, it's probably better.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
don't want it to get stuck in anything. So.
All that jello.
I love the line where he's talking to you, if we lose, and he goes, "We're not losing shit, Jerry," and giving him a hard time. Good little stuff.
Jerry, I mean, he only had 5 lines.
I didn't mind
every
this.
One of them. No,
I somewhat enjoyed Jerry's playfulness.
His banter is always great. Goes right to Morgan losing his shit, thinking that these guys walking into the gate that he's goes over.
I don't mind that. I didn't like the spider sense freak out he was having.
Yeah,
right.
That didn't make much sense. But I don't. They're not doing a great job explaining Morgan's
his fall from grace
moments. You know what I'm saying? Like when he has a spasm in a way. But later on, I thought it was excellent with the long haired guy showing up.
Yeah, I thought he was the best person that they've ever brought back from the Visions.
Absolutely, it was perfect, and I hate that guy.
He was terrible.
But that's the reason they made it great for the scene.
But no, I felt like his acting got better as soon as he became a walker. I was like, where was this laughter?
He was chuckling at him and stuff.
Oh, dude,
you think killing your way out of this is going to fix it? Yeah.
He's talking out the side of his mouth.
Oh, it was fantastic. I was like, where was this guy the entire show?
On his back and everything. It's like, where's this the whole time? This is better than the weird guy. Or whatever he's talking.
Oh my God! What do we know? Just fucking tell us so we can get done with it.
We're lost here. He was reading the writing here. Yes.
But I did after the Spidey sense the Morgan and Rick talk because.
Oh yeah, maybe you shouldn't come.
Yeah, well, I mean,
not only that, he's like, we're worse than what we used to be.
Yeah,
he's like, I know what you had to break your word to get us out of that moment. But
it's what had to be done.
We're butchers.
Because breaking your word, God, to me, that is the worst thing you could do.
But this is unfortunate that, dude, Morgan chews up the screen in this scene.
Yeah,
beyond the part of I have to.
Yeah,
I was like, please don't end it at that. Let's just all have a conversation, not the robot Morgan.
Terminator robot.
But when you get
Brain
into that,
3.0.
what you're talking about, where he's like, you had to break your word like that.
I get it. I understand
it. I understand that's what we had to do to get out of that.
But it made us worse.
But we're worse people now than we used to be.
And he realizes it. He sees it. Whereas Rick is just like, what? No.
I thought this was
great writing.
The strongest scene of the episode. Just this little talk.
Yeah.
As far as all the dialogue and really what this episode is about. You know what I mean? I thought this put the nail in the head.
Yeah, like this little scene that kind of took me back to like the beginning of Walking Dead and everything, like the original reasons why you get into it, the acting and all of that.
Well, it was a good tickle of the moral compass, and it was done well. So many times we've had the moral compass, and it's been Shiite.
True.
And this one was a true reflection.
And
especially from him. But at least he's not talking about clearing or I have to kill, I have to do this things. He's talking about
them.
We're bad people now.
Yeah,
wake up to the reality of
we
it.
might not be the heroes like we
Just as
initially
bad as
thought we were. We
basically saying
we're
that.
Negan. He was like, we've become the bad guys, Rick.
Yeah. It switches over to where Negan is talking. Dwight gives him a revolver that looks like a cap gun.
Eugene.
Yeah.
Sorry, Eugene. That's right.
Yeah, this is a horrific. This is a perfect Eugene weapon.
Yes. No
The only
kick,
thing
no
missing was a
anything.
larger barrel for the flares. Yeah. But anyway.
It's a cap gun.
Of course, he shoots the Rick, haystack a few times and have this moment of, you rock. No, you rock.
Yeah.
And then you get to see Dwight, walking around in, Daryl's A suit. And
I expected the punishment to be a little worse and more degrading.
Are you kidding me? Daryl was wearing that.
To me, could you imagine the odor that was walking around with that?
I imagine they washed it. Like there's no way this thing's just sitting.
He's worse than a rotting walker for months.
Yeah. He basically put him in a swamp sweater.
Fair enough. It gets no worse. I
It's
didn't
the
look at
ultimate.
it.
Why he hasn't choked himself with the chains he had on his arm, we haven't figured out yet.
Just kill me, Negan. Just kill me.
Please.
Put him in the suit.
Iron in my neck. I don't care. Just in me.
Actually, throw me in the pit like the doc.
Yeah. So the smoke's coming out of my pant legs.
I don't deserve. No one deserves this.
You're a monster.
Turn me into a walker. I don't want to smell.
So he says, Gabriel, we're going to take you along. We're going to have a little confessing to do.
Okay. I'm not a kidnapper or anything. So, this isn't going to be my forte. But if I'm holding someone against my will or against their will, wouldn't I use child safety locks? Like, wouldn't I prevent you from just being able to open up your door? I don't know.
Of all things to pick out.
I guess you don't think about the blind guy tucking and rolling.
Granted, it's a slim chance, but maybe take that option away from him.
So what did y'all think of the confession that led to the tuck and roll?
Yeah, at first I was like, before that scene, we see blue-haired kid and a bunch of other guys. He's like, we got this on lockdown. What do you call him? It wasn't Chief. It was like Hefe or something like that.
No, I thought he gave him his real name.
No. And then he walks by and he's like, yeah, I know you do. Idiots. I like this.
Completely
I was
different.
like, okay. And then he starts talking about in the car, I don't like sacrificing my own people. And I'm like, oh, good. Kill all of them.
Yeah. Oh, and they did. We had Navy SEAL Team 6 out there.
Oh, I know. Did y'all know?
Down.
I put it in my notes right here. Really? They killed all at the same time? I mean, like, was there a coordination? Was it like 3, 2, 1? They all fall.
That was way more ammo than they used.
Don't forget the one that survived. That Morgan gets to dispatch horrifically.
That wooden stump on the staff went through his chest.
And he's
No
like,
problem. Dies instantly.
He's got his arms out in a rigid stance. And he's just... It looked like when you stab a beetle or something,
And then it just like sprawls out. And then it's
just locked up. You ever seen the guys have the concussions on the court and their bodies just
Turn into a stiff board?
horrific scene to see.
Like old Three Stooges, like when the thing hits, it was like, oh.
And then I only assume he's using his coke nail, just cuts his throat.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see any blade in his hand beforehand. But yeah, just swift ninja.
It was a sharpened button on the end of his cuff.
I figured he had that pinky nail. You know what I'm saying? For digging out a...
Getting there nice and deep like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I love that immediately he's like, damn, that was dark. You know what I mean? Like,
somebody finally calls it out.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool scene with the long-haired guy.
Yes.
So there's some sprinkles of some good moments in here. 2 with Morgan, which blow you away. Like,
yeah. I mean, if you told me Morgan was going to be the Steam Sealer in this episode, would have never picked it.
No. All right, so you guys, Gabriel jumps, and he's like, y'all just hang loose. It's the blind guy. Can't see shit out there. I mean, my man can see 100 feet and see a sign, but he can't see a tree in front of him that he's running into.
But that's the thing. They showed the camera view of his
vision.
Gabe vision, because they keep calling him Gabby. We keep calling him Gabby.
Gabe vision.
So Gabby vision is there, and I'm like, actually, he can see the trees in front of him just fine.
I'm getting out. If that's my vision, I'm gone.
Dude, I'm outie.
Yeah,
really.
Minus cardio. Take cardio out of it.
Tree.
I'm so far gone. Negan's not even going to be able to find me.
He can see
everything.
Like a 5 foot by 5 foot area.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm gone.
Look a little bit more down.
Yeah.
No doubt. All right. How about Eugene's like shivering, don't make me do this again with his cap gun?
What's the point of having religion if you only use it when it's convenient or whatever?
Yeah. Of all people, where's your religion now? And
he's so shaky though. I'm like, dude, really, move that gun, please.
Yeah, really.
You know what? I'll just come in because I don't like how you're waving it. I don't know where that's going to go.
Did y'all see that Negan stole the Joe line? Dibs.
I did not.
Well,
he got to go
claim.
I'm gonna claim. I got to take this one. I'm taking.
Yeah, but it's called dibs on this one. On old Gabby.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I was really disappointed he didn't kill Gabe. Just because,
let's go ahead and be honest here. Are y'all surprised we didn't lose anybody?
Yeah.
To me, I was like,
I had the conversation we needed to lose 15 people.
Yeah, like at the beginning of the season,
just major death everywhere.
We just kept naming everybody that we could have dropped, and I think we lost the only person we said we couldn't drop.
We still have saviors now that were characters.
Yes.
We had people who we weren't even sure they were saviors in the satellite camps. It was just like, wait, what?
Gosh. Yeah.
How did this happen?
The best savior on screen is still hanging by a fence. Probably not now.
Oh man, I wasn't here for that podcast, but I was super pissed at the whimper he went out with.
Yeah.
Everybody that I've talked to at work, it was like, dude, Simon's the best villain on the screen most of the time.
Yeah.
Now, they ruined him a little bit this season, but...
Well, I mean, they didn't even give him the death that he deserved.
That's what I'm saying.
But they did give him... His last scene was phenomenal, where he was the walker. Yeah. And we were like, yeah, okay.
The Academy for Best Walker goes to.
Nothing to even gnash his teeth at, but he's like... Like, what are you fighting at?
He was like, hey, it's my last scene. Got to go full out.
Yeah. Never go full walker.
He's going full walker. Oh my God. All right, so Jesus and Morgan are walking on this hill, and they turn and look and go, I've never seen one that big. I paused the frame. I didn't see anything.
I saw nothing.
I saw it twice.
I saw like a white, eventually I found out was a white fence post. That's all I could see was like a piece of that. I was like, is that a big ass wolf or something down there?
Yeah.
I swear I saw nothing.
Look, I freeze framed it. I went frame by frame. I was like, you see absolutely nothing.
Now the other frame.
Oh yeah, later on when they show it, you can see it.
I can see it.
But like I don't understand why they turned the camera sideways to show whatever it was, but then you can't see what it is.
Yeah, I don't have a clue.
And I really kind of bothered me a little bit. Of course, Jesus comes up with the proposal of use this in for this and use this in for that. Stinky end of the stick versus the good side of the stick.
I'm sorry, but this is still war. Correct me if I'm wrong. And the thought of telling your person, hey,
Morgan's got to look at him like, yeah, no problem. And they just pull his rifle around. You
didn't say
shit about the bullets.
Well, here's the thing about this is that I understand what he's saying, but what killed me was that one little conversation, and he was able to adhere to it immediately.
No problem.
This guy's been struggling with this for how many episodes now?
Carol's been just dogging him about it for days.
Yeah,
days.
I mean, this guy's been the Terminator, and suddenly Jesus goes in, the holy water or whatever you want to call it.
He just gave him a nice little touch. He's like, hey,
yeah, that's right.
Maybe you don't have to kill
Instead
him.
of curing blindness, Jesus cured his killing streak. And
he cures blindness at the end of this episode too. Apparently.
So that right there is what bothered me. He's talking to him. All right, I can see him trying and failing. Yeah. At least he tried. That would have been more realistic than him going, oh, okay, I can use the blunt side, and do what Jesus said.
In the defense, Jesus is there. He's like, hey, Morgan. And he's like, fine. So, like, maybe that's why he was able to use the blunt side, but that's the best I can give you.
Yeah, but I got a massive gripe with this whole thing with Jesus at the end of this episode.
Man, I've got a massive gripe with Jesus just like the entire time.
Yeah. I'm way ahead of you on that one. All right. So finally, Rick and them are coming, and all of a sudden, the cool whistle. You hear the whistle.
Yes.
Okay. I'll be honest with you, I thought that was pretty neat.
I got a sharp. I was like, oh.
It was kind of a little chill until they showed you how they were projecting the sound.
Oh, that little baby.
They had a little radio and two guys with little mini megaphones. Mm-hmm. The way Rick and them made it look like is that they couldn't tell where the sound was coming from.
It was like almost you had speakers hooked up on the trees and everything.
It made you feel like there was a 360 surround of holy crap. And then you get up there and he's got the radio, and there's the two guys within 5 feet of him with the megaphones. I'm like,
megaphones
but maybe there was guys at the other end with the megaphones and they were all doing it or something.
Well, this is where you find out about Eugene's plan. How he tells them just to create a firing line. And make this shot, and wipe them all out without, affecting each other. He's actually following Eugene's idea at this point.
Right. I mean, I was just going, but the whistle was good.
The megaphone part, stupid. The whistle, I agree, was cool to hear it. But they did. Rick's group does make it seem like they're all around him.
Yes. It does, because everybody's looking to their left. Right. And here's the other thing that bothered me about this situation is that, let's be honest, if you're walking up the hill and you're not expecting anything, you're already on the low spot of this bottom of the hill. You do not have the advantage, the sight, anything. They just stand there, and they're all in a cluster. There was no get to the tree line. There was no...
You should be spreading out in this situation.
You run to the hill. Exactly. Go, run. Whatever you want to do. All you need Schwarzenegger run out there. To me, them standing there and just holding guns out made no sense.
A surefire way to die, essentially.
Yeah, because you have no advantage. They can pop over that hill and you're toast. Like, if the plan was successful, they were annihilated. There was nothing they could do. And so on, because they were all in a ball and they had a giant line of saviors. Now, I'm going to tell you something else that made me damn mad. It's like, I didn't mention it earlier, is that when they were at the Savior compound, saviors have been growing like fucking gerbils and gremlins pouring water on each other. There's more and more people out there and more guns and more. I mean,
it felt like there was at least 200 saviors on top of this hill.
We've done counts on this show numerous times and we were like, there are less than 50 left. And then suddenly there is a firing line of 200 MFers out there.
Yeah, and we just lost more people. In the last battle, it's just like, what? Jesus.
Not to mention there's more.
Yeah.
Because there's survivors.
True.
Yeah, I was just blown away. Why keep growing so many numbers? People understand. You just don't keep pulling them out your ass.
And weren't we just looking for guns a season ago, and none have really been put back in? Everyone's got nice automatic weapons, cartridges for days.
You can't tell me there was that many people in that compound when they escaped the Savior compound.
No,
we know that.
When we first saw the compound, I don't think there was as many people as we had in this last episode for the Saviors.
The number of people, stupid. The guns, I'll let go because Simon, remember, took every gun from the garbage people. You know what I'm saying?
But I don't know if... Okay.
He did collect
the number of guns didn't bother me. Yeah, it's just the sheer volume of people. No way.
That's a problem.
It was way. So basically, he does the 3, 2, 1, and then
you were right. You called it. You said Eugene still had something up his sleeve and everything. I thought if they did this, it was the dumbest thing in the world because there was no reason for Eugene to flip and everything. He had
the gun to Gabriel's head. They were all going to say 3. Gabriel's supposed to take a 45 through the face. And Rick and company were all supposed to die horribly with this firing line. And guns just start popping everywhere.
Yeah.
This is a cool effect they pulled off.
They did. Yes. The guns, because believe it or not, they did some close-ups of bad guys with guns blowing up beside them. And you can actually see that the explosion is happening where the chamber is.
Yep.
And the like that.
And then, one dude got like a chamber in the eye, and like there was a lot of cool.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was like a bullet firing through their face. You'd see like shrapnel hit the face, which is good.
Yeah, a lot of sparks and everything.
Yeah. Well, these are the little parts of the show that I enjoyed because that looked like cool detail. Now, here's the other thing. The odds of you having such great success of having every one of those guns blow up in your hands, or the majority is very thin, but the rule of cool and how it all happened, I thought was pretty cool.
It overtook for once on the show,
right?
And I was okay with it.
It's like I didn't want to bitch too much because I'm glad Eugene is picked the right side.
Yeah, but it makes no sense.
Come back. Eugene had to come back for the good side.
But I mean, it makes zero sense. He left on such a sour note with Rosita and everything. Negan was clearly going to win.
But the thing was, Rosita fires at him and says, if you see him, kill him.
Yeah.
To Daryl. You know, when he's hiding under the pile of ash. You know what I mean?
Please don't bring the pile of ash back up.
But he clearly hears, shoot him on sight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, well, those ain't your friend.
Exactly. Like,
so when he came in covered in ash and sat down, that made total sense to me. When he comes in, he's talking shit to Gabby. That makes total sense to me.
Him turning on Negan makes zero sense to me.
Him turning surprised me. You know what I mean? Because
that's all that other stuff was to make this a surprise. You know, that's how that he did it.
But like that,
I know, but
that's poor writing.
Doesn't fit.
Yeah,
it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
They shouldn't have had the part where she says shoot him on sight. Now that makes it so much more believable if they just don't make that comment.
Yeah.
Daryl, if you see him, kill him.
Right.
Because like he came in with so much just like salt, vinegar, and piss and just vigor to make these bullets. And like, yes, I know we had the imperfection thing. We hung on it too long. In hindsight, that's probably the dead giveaway. But it's just like there was no reason for a man whose only purpose is to survive.
They went way too far to make you feel like Eugene was a bad guy to have this flip and make it where it was believable. And I agree with that. Again, this is where on social media, so many people were like, "Oh, it was so cool to see those guns blow up. Way to go, Eugene." And like you said, I was like, "Do y'all care that really wasn't the way the show painted the picture?" You know? And they're like, "No, it was just awesome." You know what I mean?
That's the thing. I don't want to bitch too much because I am glad Eugene went the way he did.
Yes.
But it's just classic Walking Dead to make even a subtle error when trying to get to a cool moment,
right?
Can sour it. Can sour it.
And then, like, I'm going to poop on this a little bit more. Sadly, it's just like I felt like he should have completely thrown Dwight under the bus. Been like, yeah, Dwight was still my secret mole and everything. Like, if you're painting your picture to be the baddest person, I'm not giving Dwight any redemption. Like, no, I'm completely throwing him under the bus and saying he was my double agent the whole time. And making them feel even shittier for believing Dwight. But that's my ultimate villain thing. And just
I don't know.
It's weird to give somebody redemption after you're trying to run them through the mud and kill everybody they tried to save.
I guess it's perspective.
Yeah.
You know. All right, so they run up there, Rick and them, charge! You know, and I felt like the only thing missing were muskets with the bayonets.
Mel Gibson running with a flag in his hand.
Yeah, don't forget his hatchet.
There's only one man.
So they go up there, and they're killing them right and left. Michonne drops her piece and pulls a knife out, her sword out, cuts one down. Things going. Eugene gets saved by Rosita. Morgan decides to saves Jesus, but only uses the blunt end of his staff. All that stuff, and then they're chasing Negan, who's running with the bad paw he's got. Then it goes back to where we're over at the hilltop, where there's a small collection of survivors that are attacking the hilltop, and they've all escaped out into the woods. Tara has this moment of telling long hair locks, "I love Maggie" guy. You go, I'm not giving you a gun. He's like, I'm staying. And the rest of the guys, who's with me? We're staying.
All 15 of them turn around, and she's like, well, I guess I'll give everyone a gun now.
Yeah, just drops, just happens to have the bag with all the guns.
Oh, yeah.
There's a small platoon. I'll just give them all the guns.
Yeah.
Tara's like, I traded my accuracy for more firearms.
And this next scene was the thing that made me more mad in this episode than anything else.
Okay.
is when you see Tara and them in the wood line going, hold
one more second.
One more second.
One more
these
second.
guys are running.
Also, they're going, one. Also, just open fire. No.
Suddenly, we have
explosive
fireballs come from the earth.
We have Molotovs like sitting.
Okay, and I'm thinking, wait a minute now. Hold on now. And out of nowhere, we have the Oceanside throwing homemade Molotovs. Now, how far do you throw a Molotov, bro? Now, let's put this in perspective.
No.
20, 25 feet away at tops?
Makes no difference. These were landmines.
Yes.
They step on.
Yeah.
Did you ever see an actual bottle fly?
Not till the
hit
end.
a ground and explode up?
No, at the end, they were throwing them.
Yeah, at the end, we see him throwing them.
Doesn't matter. Molotov cocktails don't explode.
Here's the other thing. But here's the thing. You saw him throwing them, but you never saw one land on the ground and explode. I rewound this 4 times.
Do you not? I thought you saw him hit the fence or
you
something.
See him lighting them and throwing them, and then you come back to the next scene and there's bushes up, and then boom, 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 boom.
Oh yeah, no, it completely looks like
and
landmine.
So on.
But I mean, like at the complete end, it looked like they were hitting
I have
the ground
made a
and
Molotov
smashing.
before, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, you put the oil. Okay, I'm not gonna say that on the air. Anyway, you put all your stuff together, you light it, and you throw it, and all it does is it shatters and creates
a spread
of fire.
Yeah, that's
it. There is no poof of flame that goes vertical. Zero.
Those first 2 that go up to light the party on fire, those were like fire charges.
Yeah, it was like pyrotechnics. I mean,
it looked like a rock concert coming to life in the middle of the thing.
It's in a small thing that flames out, and I'm like, what the hell was that?
Here's my part about 20-25 feet. Did you see those guys walking?
Oh yeah,
right. Okay, so they're coming towards Tara. These people suddenly, out of nowhere, are able to throw these bombs at them. 25 feet tops. Okay? I'll be honest with you. I mean, literally 25 feet max to throw a Molotov. To be able to become where it's effective range, okay? You mean to tell me these 4 or 5 guys who are walking with guns looking for people didn't see this entire Oceanside people at the tree line?
Just coming out of nowhere.
Lighting bottles and throwing them?
They have pretty solid camo. Pretty...
Okay, hold up.
Pretty Zombok, nice camo.
Was Aaron with them?
Yes, he was.
Okay, because I didn't see him. I was looking for him and everything.
Guys, it was bad.
He's at the front of the row with the G.I. Joe smile.
I must have just looked right past him.
Yeah.
It was... I rewind this 3 times. The explosions were god-awful. The idea that they were throwing Molotovs, which do not explode, was awful. The idea that they were 20 feet away from him and these people didn't see him coming to light the Molotovs and throwing them at him was awful. Tara, in the entire situation, just happened to have the 15 guys waiting on him and having a bag to arsenal in them and wait, one more second, was awful. Every part of this.
Yeah, the convenience.
Was awful.
Great playing by Negan, though, in all honesty.
Overall playing,
yes.
Yeah, I give him kudos for the map and being delivered and stuff. I was disappointed that Greg. I love that we left Gregory in the house. He could take it, or this, that, or so on.
It's like, what do we do with that? We left him.
That's just one way not to have to pay an actor to be on the show.
Oh yeah,
he needs to be.
Didn't even get him at the end of the episode, like for a little cheeky.
Nothing.
Put him in a jail cell or something.
No, yeah, I mean,
no paycheck for you, Gregory.
Poor Xander. That whole deal at the Hills, I was just like, you got to be shitting me, man. That was really, really bad. It really bothered me. That's the kind.
And there was no purpose for it outside of just be like, "Hey, Oceanside did something." I would have
much rather those guys light them up with machine guns and just drop them like it's hot. You mean to tell me the Navy SEAL team out there with Rick and company could take out those 20 people in the car and Morgan terminate the Terminator again? But this is what we came up with.
Yeah,
with this.
But we have an entire row of people with guns and people walking down in a straight line.
They didn't come up with that. Remember, this is Tara just deciding, I'm going to slow him down.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? This wasn't supposed to be a firing squad waiting for this goat. You know what I mean? They didn't think Hilltop was getting attacked. They just happened to see him coming. They were like, all right, everybody get out of here. So, yeah, no. It wasn't organized.
It just ended up looking like it was
ridiculous and convenient.
Yes, very. Very, very so. All right, so they go back to Negan, and Rick is chasing him with his anaconda. And, of course, anytime it's a heated moment and you're shooting at the big bad guy, he's the worst. He's the worst.
Yeah, can't hit the broadside of a barn.
Couldn't hit air.
Well,
couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. It's just that bad.
Well, he hit the stain out of the glass.
Yeah, he hit a stained glass that somehow doesn't just explode like a Molotov cocktail when it's being shot by.
Stained glass is sectioned off.
Yes.
So it won't
Little
shatter
piece of the glass
beyond the lead.
I mean, I feel like it's still going to reverberate through all of that. I could be wrong.
Possible.
Well, that would be nothing new. I mean...
Anyway, so we go down to this tree, and Negan's hiding behind it, gets his bat. Rick runs down there.
No reason.
Doesn't even have his hatchet out yet, which is clearly on his hip. And formed tackle. It gets formed tackle by Negan because he comes around the corner and tackles.
Honestly, coaches should be showing this film because, like you said,
he gets hit in the stomach with the bat first, doesn't he?
No, full on shoulder.
He turns around and just tackles him.
I mean, this is a rugby tackle. Yeah,
I just thought he got hit in the stomach first.
No, I thought Negan would take the bat to him. You know, if you hear this guy running, you have that bat ready to swing for the fences.
Because his dominant hand's gone, and so I don't know if he would have necessarily been able to hit him hard enough or correctly enough to actually.
I'd have found a way.
I could get a bat going.
One-handed, I wouldn't care.
Back left-handed.
I mean, it wouldn't be terribly accurate. But it hit some part.
It'd be coming.
Yeah.
Look,
I could hit a 6-foot space. I promise you that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I like the form tackle instead of a backhanded swing with the bat.
I wasn't bitching about that.
I wasn't. And again, whenever Rick fights, he always loses. I wish this guy would figure it out. He loses, and the only time I've ever seen him win is when he killed the father of the baby he takes now.
Yeah.
And only because he drove him into a shelf.
It was more of a mistake than
right.
Rick winning.
So I mean. I told Alicia, I said, watch, he'll lose this fight. And she was like, yeah, he's losing badly.
Yep.
And then we get to the whole...
Well, he did manage to grab a barbed wired end of a baseball bat and rip it out of Negan's hand, so we did have that going for him.
I'll give him that. All right, was Rick hurt before he got down there? Because he was holding his side and bleeding before he got down to the tree.
He was. I didn't know why, but he was definitely... limpy on this.
You know what that made me feel like? It made me feel like they cut out a scene where Negan hit him with a bat in the side before they ran down to the tree. Because he never got what got him? He didn't get shot there.
And Negan says, "You're torn wide open," before he attacks him for the last time.
Yeah.
So it's me. I think there was another fight scene at the cars where Rick takes it ugly in the ribs,
or there was just some bad editing in this fight.
I think there was probably some bad shots on the filming of it, and they're like, we don't have time.
If you remember, there was a preview way back when where it showed Rick, under the tree, the stained glass windows, and he was putting his hand out on his because he's bleeding really bad from a wound in the side, and they showed it, but they never showed you how he got it, and that's another decision that's like, what the F,
because it was like the first scene of like a next week on.
Yeah, well, they gave you that. It was early in this season. They showed you that
first episode.
Yeah, down the road, and that's what something happened there. They didn't put it in the film, and that makes me mad. So he says, "Just give me 10 seconds." Now, did y'all like the 10 seconds?
No.
10, 9. The whole.
I didn't like it coming from Rick.
No,
but with Negan counting down, I was fine.
Right.
The problem I got to was when he starts bringing up Carl. And Negan and Rick are both crying, looking at each other.
Yeah.
I hated that.
Yeah, and then he goes, "Carl's wrong," and comes at him,
And man, I looked the entire time. I rewound this scene 3 times trying to figure out when he picks up the glass. And yes, he got tackled underneath it, but...
It's more of, I think, when he was getting kicked in the stomach is when he grabbed it.
Yeah, I think before he actually physically stood up.
Is when he grabbed
when he actually had it.
Because he keeps his right hand, or he keeps whichever hand he uses completely behind him.
He uses his left hand to cut him.
Yeah. It's when he's getting kicked in the stomach and he's on all fours right there. Before he stands up. That's when he's grabbing it.
Right.
They even show a minor scene of him crawling, looking through the grass.
Yeah, they did show that, but I was like, you clearly haven't picked it up in this point yet, so... But I hate that he uses Carl and then slits Negan's throat. I was like...
Well, that's the thing.
This is homage to the comic book.
You see the 2 moments. Mm-hmm. Him lying about his word that Morgan's talking about.
Yeah.
and now bringing Carl into it just to distract him long enough to cut his throat.
My problem was with like when you have Negan screaming, I'm bigger, I'm badder, I'm this, and I'm just like, Rick's the one that's all of these things right now. And so it just felt like bad writing.
Well, it doesn't have to be this way. We can live this, that, or so on. It's what Carl wanted, and he's still counting, and you're wrong, and coming at him, and then when he pauses and kind of like, okay, I'm coming to your page now, go slice of the throat.
Yeah.
Which strategically, you got the man hesitating. And
no,
this is the time to go at him.
Beautiful work and everything, but like when this is your good guy, and he's a worse character now than your bad guy. God, man, that's making me hard to root for him.
But only to reverse that immediately. You know what I'm saying?
Well, in TV show logic, he has to reverse it immediately because you're not saving Negan's life at this point.
Okay. I have I guess a small issue with the fact that he cuts his windpipe. And he cuts his throat. Like, I wish he would have cut him on the side of the neck. What I mean?
The comic book, he died. He got cut in the side of the neck.
That's dangerous, horrific, dangerous. But cutting the windpipe with, Apocalypse Medical Facility, I just think that's
death.
That's horrific.
All right, did either one of y'all have a problem with that he took a piece of stained glass? Now, y'all know how thick stained glass is, right?
Yes.
Okay, you cut it like a razor's edge line that starts bleeding. Did you notice that? He cuts him and he's like, oh, what? And then it just starts dribbling blood from it. Like, to me, I just thought it would be like a hella gash.
Yeah, I mean, that thing's...
I don't know. I've cut myself with glass, I guess, before. And even though it's like a good-sized pain... It's the edge that cuts you, not the thickness of it. So,
well, there were some people on social media who were like, it should look like a giant gashing wound instead of with that little bitty thin slice you could see.
But if they make it a giant gashing wound, then there's definitely no way they're...
I mean, I'm already...
Stuff it with gauze. He might live, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm already a little wonky about them saving him in the first place with that wound.
Nobody was within 20 seconds of running to Negan. So, I mean, there was a good bit of time.
For the human body to
He's on the ground for 30 seconds before he tells him to save him.
Well, it takes minutes to bleed out. I mean, the throat is not where he got cut is not a location you're going to bleed out and be dead in a minute.
No, it's not.
It's not because the main artery is on the sides.
On the side.
It's on the sides, and so that's just a really horrible. A good example is what was that movie where they had the brothers that just don't die?
Oh, Lawless.
Yeah. And they sawed his neck. You know what I mean? And I asked somebody who's a paramedic. I said, "Is that possible?" He goes, "Oh yeah, we've had somebody who was driving a motorcycle and a stick went all the way through their throat, and and so on, and you couldn't breathe and like that, and they were able to save him because it didn't hit any major arteries or."
I understand. It just looks weird to me, I guess.
Yes.
Because they clearly showed that they opened his windpipe.
Yeah.
And he can't, he's whispery voice, and I'm just like, stab him under the armpit or
make it, to me, like it just didn't seem believable that Negan's going to be saved. Like, no one's going to get to him in time. There's no medical equipment. And
the guy they send to save him clearly tells you, I've really never done this stuff.
Yeah.
Sadiq, yeah. Maggie's freaking out. No, we can't save him. Rick starts his speech of
got to make it right.
Got to make it right. This, that, or
I'm okay with this.
Again, it's homage to the comic book. That by keeping Negan alive, you can show that there's a future. It's a way of winning over his people as saviors. Is that there's a way to do this, and there's a way not to do this. People don't have to die to prove a point. And then, but here's the part of his speech is that if you don't follow all the rules, you will pay dearly. I was like, that's kind of the opposite.
So Negan gets to do all this and live, but if
no, that's what I'm saying. I think he's saying the same thing to them.
Yeah,
like you'll rot in jail just like Negan would.
Yeah.
But I mean, my thing was like, did any of these people really like Negan? Like, I don't think if he died, he becomes a martyr.
No.
Can I ask, is Maggie pregnant?
No.
Yeah,
not on film.
She gave birth like 4 episodes ago, I think.
I gotta tell you, I was not happy with the way she was like upset and hollering and mad. It didn't come across well to me. You know, I know
I
Daryl
didn't
was
have a problem with that part. I was okay with that.
I didn't.
It works.
I
for
didn't
me.
feel it, but anyway, no, she hasn't shown that she's pregnant for forever.
Okay. I was just making sure.
Like, I think she actually like literally like lost because she had like the baby bump or something at some point, didn't she?
Never saw a bump.
No, she's never had a bump.
So it was just amplified by her love for apple pie or something. Then because I remember them eating and bringing one in.
There's never been anything bad from the neck down. So,
Yeah.
But
okay.
Yeah, nothing there.
Okay.
And
So now we get the little flashes of the future. We got glass delivered.
we're delivering windows. We have the girl who was part of the assault team like, hey, how you doing? Great to see you. And planting plants.
You see me gardening here? Like, yeah.
Tattoo neck.
Yeah,
Yep.
we're cool.
The one that Eugene liked.
Yeah.
And is she not the one that Dwight
Yeah.
gets
Yeah.
away from Dwight, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which I don't know where we got.
Carol riding a horse.
Morgan gives all his gear up to give to Henry.
And goes to get Scar's pale chick.
Goes
Which
to see her.
still looks fantastic. Like,
Yeah.
greatest save
Great
of
improvement.
yeah, greatest save of the show. But also, Morgan's a terrible salesman. He's like, look, let me tell you about this beautiful life with people. You enjoy it and everything. Oh yeah, it sounds great. Let's go. Well, I don't really do people. Like, it's not that great.
For you.
People are the answer. I just can't be around people.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this watermelon is the greatest thing you'll ever eat. Yeah, let's have some. Well, I don't really eat watermelon. Like, I just sell it.
I beat the shit out of this 8-year-old a minute ago. I almost killed him. It's better off if I'm in here with the garbage while you're out there.
Yeah.
So Daryl takes Dwight for a ride. And you know, Dwight, I thought did a pretty good job with his. You know, I know this was coming.
Yeah,
I know I have
until
to
he
answer.
falls to his knees and starts blubbering.
Yeah, to me, I was like, all right, stand there and take it.
Yeah.
Take it.
You know,
I was ready.
And when, I'm with you. That's exactly what I was about to say. You took the words out of my mouth. Is that when he took his knees and starts groveling, I was like, oh gosh, damn, you're ruining this, man.
Yeah,
you were chewing the screen up a
yeah.
second ago.
Or like just go to the knees and don't say anything. You know, go like a samurai.
Yeah,
Go like Simon. Like,
Yeah, I was just disappointed when he blubbers. I was like, dude, you were like saying the perfect stuff. I know I'm here. I know I have to pay for the things I've done.
I deserve this.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, the only thing missing was the smoke and the thing over his eyes before he takes 5 rounds in the chest.
Yeah.
Instead, he,
Plus, I feel terrible for this guy. They don't give this guy good angles.
No.
I don't need to see his busted teeth, you know, from that upper angle with his weird nostrils. And I was just like, man, it's brutal, man. They don't give this guy the
it's
best.
like the camera's
shots.
right here and say, give me your
This is no leading man.
No.
We'll say.
And like they work so hard to not show the iron side of his face and everything. It's just like, let's just roll with it.
Yeah.
Like, he's already not getting the good angles, like
Plus,
you said.
I like his sutures for his
Brand new, sparkly white.
for his cat scratches. I love that. It's like,
What are those holding together exactly?
Yeah.
Like,
you're not really holding your flesh together there, much.
Yeah, really.
if only there was a guy who just recently got his.
morning.
Yeah. It's like, did somebody draw those on with a color pencil?
Crayon.
Yeah.
Daryl throws the keys at him. He's like, get out of here. You ever see her again, I'll kill you.
Kill you on sight.
You know,
Go make it right.
go make it right and
Find her.
Right.
So, are we to believe that she's still alive?
Well, they show
Oh,
you she
definitely.
is. Yeah. I
Meet
mean,
me at the honeymoon
he
spot.
goes back to the honey spot, and there's the letter with D, and on the honeymoon symbol forever. And
He shows up. Oh, God. I forgot. Well, how much can I take? His
Yeah.
face.
because all the pretzels were eaten in the booze, was right.
yeah.
So in the pristine cardboard box that they were able to mass produce there at the Savior compound. Then it was
Carol riding a horse.
Carol riding the
Good
horse.
for Carol. Like,
Gabriel goes into the burnt church and says, "Thank you for curing my vision."
He has vision again.
He has vision again.
I'm giving those to the antibiotics.
And then the other part that I thought
Do we
was
have to?
the biggest asinine script writing, story decision F you in the cornhole, terrible call. God, it was awful. Is when we have Maggie sitting at the table.
I thought this was
with
fake.
Jesus.
The Godfather. It's even filmed like it's a dream.
Yeah.
And she's like, we're going to fortify this place. We're going to make this right. This, that, so on. And when the time's right, we're going to take Rick.
We're going to show them.
We're going to take Rick and Michonne out. You know, show them.
And Daryl
because they
coming
were
out
wrong.
of the corner.
See, I feel like they don't know what they're going to do yet.
They don't.
Because they had to use certain types of wording. Mm-hmm. And when the time is right and we get our moment, we're going to show Rick and Michonne.
Because they were wrong.
What does that mean?
Yeah, and then, what do you call it? Daryl comes out of the shadow and goes, damn right, or whatever it was like that. And I was like, oh, hold on. First off, Jesus is the wrong person to have you on the backstab team.
Yeah. He should have been like,
do you know who I am?
I'm the guy who says don't kill anybody.
Yeah, really.
Well,
I'm the
and
one
she's
who
like,
brought the Savior's here to you, and you thought I was a shitbag for that. You know?
I love how she's just like, well, Jesus, I like that you did this. I don't regret anything that I did to these people.
You were right,
but you were right.
I killed folks, but I didn't care. You know, whatever. I'm sorry. Jesus he's the guy you scratch off the list for the backstab team. Yeah, this guy right here is not going to work. You know? I mean,
it should be Tara or Rosita or
just Daryl.
I don't have a clue.
Yeah, it really could be just Daryl. You know, and to me, like Daryl was like, okay, Daryl and Rick are bros for life, and you have these monumental embraces when they get back together. Given they did fight each other over decisions on this war and everything like that. I just don't see Daryl being the guy who's just completely turncoat on Rick. I just don't see it at all. Especially with Michonne in part.
Exactly.
That's the other thing. If you're going to turn on Rick, I get it. But you are not going to turn on Michonne, who's done nothing wrong to anybody.
Except keep everybody alive.
If there's two people that I was never going to buy that would be okay with Negan surviving this, it's Daryl and Maggie.
Yes.
Because they're the two most affected by the original Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo beatdown.
Speaking of Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo.
Daryl blamed himself, as well as he was a prisoner of Negan's, as well as all the other stuff. Of course, Maggie lost her husband. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And Rosita. Rosita could be in this thing as well. Right. I mean, no need to give her more screen time.
She would be a distant third.
Only because of her ex-boyfriend. You know what I'm saying?
Same reason that Maggie is upset. So,
but Daryl blames himself for Gwen dying. Yeah. So he's going to back whatever play Maggie pulls, right?
Right.
Yes.
But I'm just saying, I don't see them going about it this way.
No. Because there's no reason to go about this way.
And not only that, I mean, is it too soon for that?
No.
No, it doesn't have to be too soon because it's like
she's saying bide our time and
when
everything.
When they show Maggie and she's talking to the guy the long-haired ex-savior guy who's like, I could build things, I want to live here, and she's like, okay. She seems too relaxed already for me.
Right.
Like she ought to be down at Glenn's grave like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
Do I just beat Rick to death? You know what I mean? This whole Godfather-y style shot with her doing this.
Not a fan.
Especially throwing Jesus in there. That was just so stupid. Yeah, like and the fact that he's agreeing with anything.
Yeah, like he's smiling with her.
Yeah.
Like his facial expression's like, hell yeah. You know? I mean, pass the wine. This is awesome. You know? I mean, I was like...
It's like, yeah, we're going to fortify. Wait, what?
Let me sharpen my knife.
And surely...
So calm down, Jesus. You're doling that knife.
Of course Maggie knows Rick's plan to leave him rotting in a prison cell.
Yeah.
So what's the damn difference?
If he's alive or dead. He's not going anywhere. He's not going to be enjoying life.
I'm telling you, like, this whole scene was just like a farce to me, man. Everything about it was just like her being the Godfather, Jesus smiling like a giddy boy who's about to get a popsicle, and Daryl coming in there, hell yeah. You know, it just like...
Daryl coming out of the back like he's Louis C.K. I was a little worried, and then...
I totally support the fact that Maggie and Daryl should be super pissed.
Yes.
Okay. Daryl, I'm like, you see, obviously he's a little off the rails. But Maggie, I just don't see her handling it this way.
I'm sorry. You can't show me one scene of Daryl not killing Dwight, who he is dying to kill the entire season because of what he did to Denise and the whole 9 yards. For him just to bring him out there and throw him the keys to turn right back around and say, I'm willing to do whatever against Rick. You can't have that within 5 minutes of each other. You can't have the sudden moral compass of Daryl be like, I'm gonna let you live, even though you're just as bad to Negan as to him.
Yeah,
you can't tell me you're gonna turn on Rick now. I'm sorry, that's just no freaking way.
And throw Michonne under the bus with it.
Exactly. To me, that whole scene was so far. Now, here's my thing. Now, what I understand when I've researched, I've done Maggie, the character like that, it has not signed on for next season. So this could be something where they write her out, or
how you can't just write her out though at this point. I don't think.
Well,
they just made her the most focal point character for next season.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Scott Gimple has come out and says that this is the end of an era.
So you kill
season
people.
9 is a major shift and change in the show. Okay. Which I know exactly what they're saying.
But how do you do that without killing people off at a season finale?
Well, I'll tell you this, and it's not a spoiler list that or so on. They're going to do a massive time jump. Is what they're going to do, and you can just say something happened to her in the time jump. I mean, that's an easy cut her out.
You can't make her the focal point of the finale, literally the last scene,
right?
And to make that the cliffhanger for next season,
right?
Because you could do your time jump still, and her be biding her time until this moment. That way, Negan could be fully healed and blah blah blah, and can have his dialogue and stuff. I would be more surprised if Dean Morgan signs on.
Yeah, he has no reason
for the next season.
Well, this is the most popular he's ever been, so I would.
Yeah, but I mean,
if I was Andrew Lincoln, I'd be ready to get out of this. I mean,
well, maybe not Andrew Lincoln. You know? It's like that's like $10 million a year. Like,
I understand, but it's like these people have been doing this a long time.
$10 million keep going into that bank account.
Daryl, sure, keep his ass on the show. Whatever. This is like his gold mine.
Yes,
he's perfect fit. He's beloved by people. Sure. You know, people like Rosita and Tara and those kind of characters. I'd try to latch onto this too. Yeah. Andrew Lincoln, Michonne, those characters.
I can easily see Michonne leaving.
Other stuff.
She is doing other things.
You know, she's already a Wakanda badass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just surprised that so many of these people are hanging in as long as they are.
Yeah.
No,
I feel you. You know, bottom line is the episode wraps with Rick going over and walking his son again, and writing a new letter to him, and all that stuff and everything, and that's kind of the end of the episode. But like I was saying earlier, they say the whole thing's going to be a major change next season. And of course, like guys, if you read the comic books, or so on, I'm not giving anything away. There's a huge time jump, and there's a reason that Eugene is part of the team, and why Rosita said we need that stuff that's in your head for us to have a future. There's a reason that woman came over and gave him a book that shows him how to make a windmill and water tunnels, this, that, or so on. All that is very important to where the show is going in the next part.
Which, how is this guy able to get his hands on it to look through that? He's like, hey, I've been looking through whatever the book is, and I was just thinking, how?
Key to the future or something like
that? Yeah, it was like, if you're a prisoner and we don't trust you with anything, I'm not letting this book near you.
Yeah, good call. I didn't totally miss that.
In the mansion.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, whoa, hold on. Hold on, MFer. You've been in my room, in my vault? No.
Wow, that's some different connotations there. You've been in my vault. Well, guys, this was a very interesting season. Not one of my favorites. Were you happy with how this concluded? Were you excited that the way it wrapped, or do you see this as being a future? Do you agree with Maggie? Do you think that needs to be a turn, and a turncoat or a backstab or a change in leadership or however you want to put it? Anything we talked about tonight, guys? I know it's the end of the season and we won't be back probably until October. But any thoughts? Don't be afraid to hit us up on social media. We're BleedTV Podcast on the Gmail if you want to go that way, as well as on Twitter and Facebook. But also next week we are starting the new Westworld coming out on HBO. Really, really enjoyed first season. Got to be one of the top 10, top 15 shows we've ever seen. Just really well done, well produced, great acting, the whole 9 yards. I've seen several previews, and to say I'm licking my chops is an understatement. And if we have the time, we might even sneak in a little Into the Badlands, which also starts on the same night, same time frame. We're going to see how that goes and how that goes, if we can work it out. But other than that, do you guys got anything else for tonight?
No. Nope.
Other than that, I think we're just going to call it a wrap for The Walking Dead. And until season 9, this is it. This is BleedTV, and I'm Zach.
Okay.
We'll see y'all then.